Mira Business FM, the morning drive. I'm Tim Elliott. Good morning. Gold prices at historic highs. Last Wednesday, last Thursday, last Friday. It was getting to a point, to be completely honest, where it was a bit, this is just going to keep going on, if I'm absolutely honest. This morning, around 8 a.m., I haven't looked since because I'm going to hand over to our guest to do that in a moment. But gold was around $4,265, there or thereabouts, at 8 o'clock this morning. So the expectations for this week, the week that might be for gold, over to you. Jeff Rhodes, who is the CEO of Goldstrom Advisory, is with me.
It has taken me 3 hours to get here this morning.
I feel
it wasn't
for
technical problems, it was called the 611 problems.
What was it that...
No idea. Yeah, I left home in good time, 6 o'clock for our 10 o'clock start, Tim. At 9 o'clock, I was coming into the car park. So it's been a technically challenging morning.
It's so frustrating. Do you know what? It was all week last week. I was sailing here at 7 o'clock in the morning, wherever it was, because obviously half term was on. This week it's school traffic. I guess you've got to blame it on something. I appreciate you being here, Jeff. I know how trying it is. It's a standard Dubai issue. But I've got to be honest with you, I don't know where to start with gold today. So I'm going to hand straight over to you. You've got your screen open in front of you. Immediate thoughts, looking at charts, looking at peaks, troughs. What have we got?
Look, last week, in fact, for the last 2 weeks, we have had periods of $100 sell-offs.
Yep.
And every time it sold off, it bounced back again. And we started this morning in a very similar pattern. So we got down to just about 4,220.
Right.
But then in a blink of an eye, it was 4,270. So not $100, but in the thin Asian market, $50 was a decent rally. But as we speak and looking at it, gold is coming off. And it's mixed. The outlook is mixed. It's going to be a difficult week because it's not clear. Last week, it was almost obvious that every day was going to be higher.
Last year it was mountaineering, wasn't it?
It was indeed. But this week, it looks as though it's going to be much more challenging for traders because it isn't clear. Off air, you asked me, what did I think?
Yeah.
If I had to do something now, we're starting the week, and a good market maker has to have a view. You can't be a market maker and be neutral.
Yeah.
So I would plunge to sell a bit.
Okay.
I do think I don't think it is well overdue. The 30-day RSI, relative strength indicator, remains elevated at 75. So anything above 70 is a sell signal. But there is a bit of movement in one of the other precious metals that I think is giving me a signal for the sector as a whole.
Okay, and that, I'm guessing, because you also said to me off air just now, ask me about, in fact, no, it wasn't ask me, it was, I want to talk about platinum.
I do. Platinum has really had a fantastic run this year. It's been the market leader, but this morning I noted a MACD sell signal. And that is not a cheeseburger, Tim. It's a crossover between two moving averages. One is 12-day moving average, right. Another is a 26-day moving average. And it's a momentum indicator, and it can be very accurate. When you have really sideways trading, no real trend, it's not so good. But when you have a trending market, as we've had for the last few months, then it is extremely accurate, and that has flagged a sell signal. And that could be a significant sell signal. Now, if that trips over into the other three precious metals, particularly gold, this could be the week where we finally get a significant reversal back to reasonable levels. If you'd have said to me, Tim, at the start of the year, 3,600, is that possible? I would have challenged you and accepted, yes, it was.
Sure.
But we've just almost been to 4,400.
Yeah.
So a reversal back to 3,600, would it be extremely healthy and leave the bull market intact? So if, as I say, if I had to do something, preferably I'd sit on my hands, but I don't get paid to sit on my hands, so I have to have a view.
No, I do that.
And yeah, as I say, if I had to do something, it would be to sell a bit.
Okay, so last week we had 4,380. That was pretty much the high. That was
That was it.
That
That's
was
it.
Friday, right? For a troy ounce of gold. You think it would? I mean, I don't know if you're saying 3,600. Well, what would be a reasonable reversal? Do you think?
3,900.
3,900.
Yeah, 3,950 is actually the technical point on the chart where there should be some buying come in, particularly short covering. So 3,950 is a good number, but not much of a number. It's modest support, whereas 3,600 is very strong support. So back into the 3,900, 3,600, probably a decent area. If you feel as though you missed the golden boat, then I don't think you have. But this, if you miss that move, then I think it would be, to do it twice would be silly, really.
But you still, I mean, you're still saying, okay, so we get a reversal, short-term reversal now to maybe 39, 39.50.
Yeah.
But do you still feel that there is room for this this magical kind of $5,000 level?
Oh, yeah. And as we head into 2026, as long as Donald Trump is still in charge, and he's certainly going to be in charge for the next 2 years, gold is in a bull market. Because you just never know with President Trump what he's going to say and what the policies are going to be. Are there going to be more Trump tariffs? You just don't know, Tim. And it is the bullishness in gold really starts to show itself in times of uncertainty.
Yeah.
And
That's the key word
that
here.
is the uncertainty is the key word for gold, and it's your safe haven. Plus, it has become a kind of an asset manager's go-to asset because it's the best performing, other than the sector overall is great, platinum, silver, and then gold. But gold still, 60% up on the year? Tim, it's amazing.
Well, it's interesting this, because I've been here at Mira for what? This is my 6th week, and I genuinely didn't expect to be talking to you twice a week about gold. Not that I didn't want to talk to you, but I didn't expect that we would be checking in as regularly. I just didn't see gold continuing the way it was going.
So I've converted you, have I?
You have, actually. Yeah, I'm a convert to the cause. Look, what we'll do, we'll check back in on Friday to see how the week pans out for gold. So you're saying potentially 39, 39.50 this week for gold. Okay, so a reversal. We'll see how it pans out. More record prices or not, as the case may be. Before, I wanted to broaden the conversation with you, Jeff, a little bit and talk about gold coins, sovereigns in a moment, and a few other things, because I want to leave that where we are. Just park that for a bit, and we'll talk to you again on Friday. Just very quickly, though, you've mentioned gold, platinum. Your other favourite is silver.
Silver.
Any thoughts?
Silver. Well, silver has been subject to a really significant physical squeeze, with the amount of silver in London vaults being questioned. Definitely not as much as everyone thought. And that lack of available physical metal has caused a squeeze on the supply versus demand. And it looks as though we are well short again in 2025. Demand way outpacing supply. And that's been the case for about 10 years. More silver being physically consumed than being produced. It was felt that there was enough silver anyway in the world, certainly in London, to allow for that. but it appears not. So as we speak now, the silver lease rate, if you're short silver and you need to borrow, that's going to cost you 13 or 14% per annum per day. That is really serious. And so even though I would expect silver to track gold lower if gold does sell off, silver is much more going for it on the upside. So I could see a correction to $45, certainly 50,
Yeah.
$45. But for me, and I think it's really important, I never give investment advice. This is just me thinking out loud. I would buy at 45 because that would be a $9 retracement from the all-time high that we saw last week. And I remain convinced that in 2025, we will see a silver price that starts with 6 and not 5.
Okay, there you go. A silver price that starts with 6, not 5. More to check back in with you on later in the coming weeks, Jeff. Something you mentioned last week, and this is another thing you said you would like to talk about, and I'm interested in this because I know very little about it, but the reason I'm going to ask you about sovereigns, legal tender gold coins, if you like, I saw a clip over the weekend of a UK show called the Antiques Roadshow, which is a famous show, and people go to a country house or a stately home, and there are experts there, and they take knickknacks and all kinds of stuff and have it valued. And very often you get that moment of, a watch from the 30s, and it's worth £100,000, whatever, and it's great TV, and the shock on somebody's face. There was a woman on this clip, but this is a recent clip, it's the last week or two, who went to the Antiques Roadshow, and she had, I think it was a collection of about 50 sovereigns.
50?
Something like that, yeah. I can see your eyes lit up. But they were sovereigns all the way back to Queen Victoria, so Victorian times in the UK. And the expert valued them. And she had no idea. They were just a bunch of coins, and it was in a box that she found, I think, in her father's house, something like that. And in the end, it was worth upwards of £20,000, 100,000 dirhams.
For the one coin?
For one of the coins alone, it was 10. The whole collection, it wasn't all Victorian stuff, but it was about 100,000 dirhams approximately. Yeah. So, of course, this woman thought, maybe I've got 500 dirhams worth. There was a huge difference. So it was one of those moments. But how does a legal tender coin with a particular value, a denomination, become so valuable? I mean, it is. The mind boggles,
Look, this is a whole new world that unfortunately isn't in the UAE at the moment, but should be, and that's the world of numismatics.
Right.
So the study of coins is numismatic.
Yeah.
So, and one of the leading experts actually sits in Abu Dhabi in the world of numismatics. So I won't say his name because I'd need to get his approval for that.
Right.
But he gave a presentation a year or so ago that I was involved with, and he made the point that if you buy gold, you have really got a good chance of making money from the gold, just the value of the gold. But if you buy gold coins, you have that additional benefit that one day they could be worth a lot of money just on their own because they're
rare.
Well, they're a thing of beauty, and you're quite right. Normally, with the sovereigns, you have a limited edition, so they're not published. They're not produced to the nth degree. So you have a limit on the amount of sovereigns for that particular year or that particular head. It could be a king's head or a queen's head, but they do have this. Other than the intrinsic value of gold, these are items of beauty. They really are. It's a market that is not accessible here for one good reason, that they are not regarded as investment coins.
Okay, so
because
they're known as 916, is that right?
Yeah, they are 916, which is 22 carat.
Right.
Okay. But it's regarded if you like, investment gold here, in the Middle East generally, but certainly in the UAE, is 99% pure gold. So, if we look at legal tender coins, they're often much less than that, as in this case, 22 carat. So, if you buy them, immediately you're going to have a 10% add-on, 5% for VAT and 5% for import duty.
Okay.
Whereas in other parts of the world, in the UK, in the US, for example, legal tender coins are exempt from all taxation.
Right.
So,
Right.
okay, problems with the microphone. For me, it would be very, very interesting if I could convince my colleague to come and have a chat with you, because that's a whole different world, and I don't even know how to spell numismatics. So he's the world's expert. So I'd like you to meet him. But it is really, really a fact that you can make much more than six figures on certain coins.
Well, this was the case with this, particular clip that I saw. But it was just remarkable that these were just a bunch of old coins. I've found coins on the beach and thought, oh, that's going to be valuable. Of course, it's not. Yeah. Absolutely, the gold coins are clearly a little bit different. But I'm just not. I'm just not au fait with it. It's not something I've ever followed. But I understand that sovereigns were issued by the UK government, Krugerrands by the South African government. There are Aussie, I think, Australian sovereigns as well.
The nuggets, I think, aren't they?
Something like that. Yeah. So bullion coins or ingots share a common investment grade purity and weight.
Yeah.
Numismatic means coins are, maybe rare or collectible.
And certainly rare and collectible, and typically had been legal tender in the day. So when they were produced, they would have been legal tender. May not be today, but certainly would be less than 99% typically. So legal tender coins issued in France, etc., etc. Switzerland, I think, is Vrenelli. Different like methods of payment, and I think in US it's $20 eagles. There's a single eagle and double eagle.
Right.
So so eagles there, but the iconic coin, monetary coin that was ever issued is the sovereign. And was, in fact, the form of payment across the world 200 years ago. You paid in sovereigns.
Well, this is that, and sovereign became slang in the UK.
A sov,
for example, a sov. How many sovs did that cost you? And that just equated to pounds, didn't it?
No, it did actually,
basically. Yeah. But
and
it was
the guinea,
it
and of course then you had the golden guinea. That was actually, I think, £1. It was 21 shillings. I think guinea was 21 shillings. But
okay, so sovereigns are 22 carat, generally speaking, 916. Let me ask you about this. For anybody listening, thinking, well, that's fine, but how does that work? 24 carat gold is your kind of gold standard, isn't it?
It is
pure.
Yeah, pure gold, 24 carat.
Okay, 22 carat is 916. So it's
the 24 carat is 999.9 parts in 1,000.
Okay,
that's what it means. So 916 is 916 parts in 1,000.
Gotcha. And that is gold. Almost reinforced, really, isn't it, with other metals?
A little bit, yes, it is, because pure gold, of course, is soft.
Yeah.
And the 22 carat is interesting, Tim, because it's the favoured denomination for Indians. And of course, anyone listening, happy Diwali. And I'm sure there's a lot of gold being purchased in the souks today. But so Indians prefer 22 carat. Europeans, on the other hand, much prefer 18.
Okay.
And that's again to do with, I think, the making, because often you get intricate designs that need to be strengthened. It could be with copper. Sometimes with silver. It's very popular to alloy pure gold down to 18 karat with silver. So, that is definitely something to follow. There are others. There's 14 karat in the US. Tim, you and I will remember 9 karat gold rings
We talked
in the
about
UK.
this. Well, my father's wedding ring is 9 karat gold.
Yeah, absolutely. Which, of course, is not gold.
Well, it's
more
very little.
not gold than gold.
Yeah, absolutely right. It was just a thing of the times. But so that's the difference, isn't it? So gold is kind of, I hate to use the phrase watered down, but it makes it easy to understand. Alloyed down with zinc, brass, copper, silver, whatever.
Absolutely.
What's the decision behind that? How does that work? With which alloy you use?
Oh, well,
just what's available.
No, not really. It's what sells. For example, when you look at rose gold, rose gold is an alloy with copper.
Okay.
That's where you get the rose color from.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Okay. I like rose gold, I have to say.
Yeah.
But,
and of course you have white gold.
Well,
but white gold doesn't exist. There isn't one ounce of gold that's dug out the ground that has been white.
True.
It's always it's alloyed. Typically, it's coated with, say, rhodium. Although rhodium's much more expensive than gold, it can be covered with silver. That's often a way to go. So white gold, I don't know if you want a white precious metal, I would go for platinum. Platinum looks so much better with diamonds. Just for me.
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean, that's another side to this, isn't it? That if you make gold sturdier, less malleable, so you drop to 22 or 18 karat, that is better for, jeweled.
It is.
Jewelry, isn't it?
Making. Yeah, absolutely. And you can do more with it.
Right.
So, but Saudi Arabia, 24 karat. They won't look at anything less than 24 karat.
You see, that's the difference when you're here and you go to the gold souk for the first time, and you realise the brightness, that kind of that gold aura that comes off, because so much that's displayed is
it's pure gold.
24.
And China, 24 karat, pure gold, 4 nines. So China has a lot, in keeping with Saudi Arabia. So, they're the two main areas. And so what you find in the gold souk here, of course, I think it's the only gold market in the world that caters for everyone. That's the thing. I've always said it, I've been here almost 30 years. I find it fascinating. Dubai, city of gold, and of course it's not Dubai, it's UAE, country of gold. I think a lot of us forget there are significant gold markets in Abu Dhabi. I live in Ras Al Khaimah, and there's a significant market there. So I like to go to. There's one particular jewelry shop that I go to, and I normally go to Alhambra. So that's my little plug for Alhambra. Sorry.
That narrows it down slightly. You did that so well. Look, Jeff, it's fascinating to talk to you, and I appreciate that, because I think a lot of us just take it for granted that it's 24, it's 22, and we don't really understand the idea of carats and how gold's alloyed and everything else. Going to come back to you on Friday. Here it is. Gold perhaps by Friday at 39.50.
I'd like to think so.
Be a reasonable reversal.
Yeah, I'd like to
holding
think
you
so.
to predictions, but expecting that this week possibly. And we'll be talking gold and silver back then. Jeff Rhodes is the CEO of Goldstrom Advisory. Always appreciate chatting to you, Jeff. Thank you.
Thanks, Sid.
Thanks for braving the traffic as well. This is Mira Business FM. My name's Tim Elliott. We're on the morning drive. If you're with us on the website, hello, mirabusiness.fm. If you're watching, listening on YouTube or Twitch, stick with us. It's the morning drive on Mira Business FM.
You're listening to Mira Business FM.